you're in the west, so I don't know if it's probably.
It was that much. Sleeping roads.
Iran right now, Iran is working really hard to try to have a national identity instead of rating for a variety of reasons. So that's why they're trying to honor that area in their pitch.
Well,
I saw it. They've really gotten into the past few years about not wanting Iran. The Saudis are strong. What's going to happen is the Saudis are going to throw gas on the fire and get themselves into a fight that they can't win. Because the Saudis are really weak. They'll fight. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Let's be serious. Most people do not work. They are for everything.
For everything.
When they had the Mecca thing back in
They don't storm getting range out from the roof. No, you're actually right.
I understand that. She works nights too.
So we, over here, we don't have anything.
How'd you do it?
I'll break the hill, nothing to hold.
No, she would talk to me.
6 or 8
And then
people.
Deb called her to see
You
if she could.
you just can't understand.
She called.
Just as much as the rest of the house that can understand. Just don't get it. You know, you can't just say, well, put this person up for this party. Well, it's all a matter of, well, that's just not the party. You know, cousin, who you always feel so from, even if he's the biggest asshole.
So
Well, there's 2 books that I found quite informative for me.
all right. We're going to start the meeting, so we call start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Selectmen are present and accounted for. First item on our agenda is to review the May 21st, 2014 minutes. Has everybody had opportunity to do that? Do I have a second? Nancy and Ed, discussion? All those in favor? Okay, so moved. And then the next we have Teresa Montague.
Okay,
Welcome, my dear.
thank you. I invited myself, so I'm sort of a self-invited guest. My name's Teresa Montague. I live in Clifton. I'm out on Route 9 with Chick Hill in the background. I'm running for the Maine State Legislature, and in November, Peter Lyford and I will battle it out. I tend to call myself a broad, even though I'm little, because I have a broad background. And today I want to talk to you about several issues, including broadband. Economic issues are driven by good infrastructure, and having good infrastructure means that people with businesses can build and develop where you are. And broadband is essential to that right now for a whole variety of reasons. I brought the topic up again, and I'll probably keep bringing it up because it's essential to citizenship, it's essential to our economy, it's essential to our freedom of speech. And according to the United States Department of Homeland Security, it is essential for global competitiveness and for our national security. So I've been looking into different broadband kind of things because I want to have streaming video, I want real-time access to the world, and I can't really get it in Clifton. Maine happens to be 49th in business-friendly environment, which means you have the infrastructure. Well, we don't. We're also 49th in business development in the country, and we are 49th in broadband expansion. There's a correlation there, and we need to look at that. So I looked at broadband for me, and I've got HughesNet satellite, which gets me, at this point, 1.5 megabits per second. And that's not enough for streaming video, so I can't watch what's going on down at the state legislature. I can't take online courses. I can't have access to a lot of things that we should all have access to. Speaking of which, did anybody hear this morning that Starbucks is now offering a free college education to all their employees? Up to $30,000 value, but it'll be done online. And if you don't have streaming video, you ain't going to get that. And here in our towns, we can't access the kind of education and other things that we need without high-speed broadband. So Fairpoint's coming in, and I got all excited. They've got fiber optic, but it turns out they can only give me 3 megabits per second. You need 7 to have streaming video. The only companies that really seem to provide the 21st century technology we need looks like Time Warner with their fiber optics. Fairpoint is expanding with fiber optic, but in front of that they've got copper, and if you're too far away from their broadcasting station, where I am, at the end of edge of Clifton, it'll be 1.5 megabits per second. So it's a little cheaper than HughesNet, but HughesNet says jump on up and you can get 15 megabits per second, which is really fast, but they don't let you download very much, so you still can't access the rest of the world. It's important for us to make some kind of contract with Time Warner so we can get that high-speed internet out here. And so I'd like the select board to maybe look into Time Warner and see what the differences are between those things, because it is important for our community. The FCC is currently going to change some things about the broadband. We want something called net neutrality and an open internet. Right now they're talking about changing it all and selling time so that Amazon and Netflix and some of those people all have the high-speed access, and small businesses will all be slowed down. And if you know anything about the internet, if you click on it, it takes a long time to go through your website if you don't use it. So it will harm businesses greatly not to have that freedom of access and the same treatment elsewhere. So I've got some websites that you can write the chairman of the FCC, Tom Wheeler, and ask him to protect the open internet by classifying it as a telecommunication utility instead of the TV kind of thing that a lot of people seem to think it is, because it's not. And I don't have much more time, but so I'll post those things so you can get some of the web links and stuff. Small business and entrepreneurship in this town, I think, is really important. I go by and there's all kinds of little houses and towns and shops and businesses, and we need to celebrate those things. And Carol brought up the idea of trying to do something positive, and I think the town should, maybe in August, start planning for some kind of town celebration that we do annually to celebrate small businesses, crafts and artisans, and people who live and work in our community because they find it worthwhile to be here. We need to celebrate our community and our lives by doing so, and then reaching out to the rest of the surrounding communities to come and celebrate and learn about who lives in Clifton and what we do and what's going on. So I'd like to suggest to the select board that we can't do early this year, but maybe for next year, to start some kind of a planning committee to work on that. I certainly would love to help do that. My dad helped start all kinds of things that are now annual, like the Kansas City Jazz Festival and the big Kansas City barbecue that everybody does every year. So it's in my family genes to keep communities together and try to develop a lot of those things. Just to make sure. All right, contact Tom Wheeler with the open internet. Some more information about that in case you'd like to know more about that. And I'd like to promote some more small businesses, especially greenhouses and farms in Clifton, so I'm glad to see that the land business is addressing that. Especially, there's new programs out for veterans to connect them with becoming farmers all across Maine through the USDA, so I'd like to get back with you on some of those and more. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we haven't heard any of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Teresa?
Yes.
I have talked to Time Warner, not recently, but last time I talked to them, they said we did not have enough houses per mile
Or something to do that.
because it's too expensive for them to come out if they're not going to make it.
There are some towns that have worked with other communities like that, and to be honest, I know in Vermont there's a town that developed 30 miles worth of land because they need something like 10 people per mile, and it's something like $25,000 to get that expanded. So people took out small loans. 10 people along the line would take out loans, but they're small businesses and expanded. The kids got the education they needed. They could hook up to the medical things that they needed, and they could access what they needed from government, which they couldn't do before, because you could do everything online now.
Right.
And more things are only online now, whether you want to do unemployment or whatever it is. It's, you know, register your car. They're moving further and further away from people, and so online access is
Yeah,
huge.
it's definitely something we can check into again, but I wanted you to know we had looked
I
into it
appreciate
before.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you.
Mr. JT, we're gonna skip around a little bit because we have some guests that are here.
Sure.
Bruce Davis from Hopkins Pond concerning trash pickup on their road. And we have JT here who does an excellent job. Bruce, would you like to start first? Or
Sure.
JT, whomever, I don't know who brought the issue up or not. but-
Well, I guess
We talked together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
okay.
never met, but we talked occasionally.
Well, good.
I've seen his
And,
pickup truck in the ditch.
Yeah.
And his garbage truck in the ditch, and we've been over that. But as you may or may not remember, there was, what, about a year ago, maybe a little more than that?
Over 2 years.
Well, time flies. 2 years ago, there was, because of the issue of the open trash bin and how much that was costing the town in excess fees, JT or somebody proposed, well, why don't we do curbside pickup for Hopkins Pond and we'll take away the trash bin. And to be honest, people in the Hopkins Pond, for the most part, love it. I mean, there's some predictable annoyance of animals getting the trash and, you know, all of that, but, you know, for the most part, people really enjoy that service. The problem, which I empathize with because I drive the road, is that JT is committed to every Monday, not the Mondays when it doesn't snow, but every Monday to pick up this trash, and he experienced the better part of a day trying to get his truck out of the ditch because we don't always have the slowest drivers in the world and things like that. So what this issue is to try and find the middle ground where we maintain service we enjoy and not send JT into cursing the day that he committed to coming into Hopkins Pond. Now, he had offered up a locked bin, and surprise, surprise, nobody that I could find in Hopkins Pond wants to be owner or, you know, donate the land for that bin, other than myself, who happens to be at the end of the roadway. So the rest of the owners weren't thrilled with that as an option, because in that sense they empathize with JT's problem, because in the winter the roadway isn't the best. So in talking to a lot of people, and I haven't talked to JT further, but I think the win-win might be if we can get seasonal pickup, say from May 1 to November 1, as is, and then for the winter months, put a locked bin out here where the people on Hopkins Pond have keys. Because presumably that works well for, you know, the other location in town that has a locked bin. I think the problem last time it was an unlocked bin that, you know, resulted in hundreds of dollars every month in excess fees, right? But
There wasn't so much of that. It was like, you know, we had those containers there for Springy Pond and for Hopkins Pond's residents, okay? And the problem you had with that is that you had everybody that drove by this town knew those containers were there. There'd be times, I mean, it was literally all we could do to, you know, with the winch on the truck to get the container off the ground. Shingles, sheetrock, construction debris, you know. And I told the town, I'm like, hey, look, I can cut 3 or 4 ton a week off of your trash bill by getting rid of these dumpsters. You know, to pick the town up, we run what? That'd be 6, 8 ton a week right now. Before it was like almost 11 or 12 ton a week. So we did more than 2 or 3 ton. We cut a lot out of it. And at what, $80 a ton now to get rid of trash? That's a lot of money weekly when you add that up out of, you know, 52 weeks out of the year. You know, that's your money, you know. We eliminated that, and right off the bat, we seen a reduction of the tonnage. And there was no mess out here behind the town hall. We'd get here on Monday mornings and it would just be strewn everywhere. You know, we'd spend 20, 30 minutes going down over the bank, picking the trash up. You know, that's all part of what we do. You know, it's no extra cost to the town, but it was a mess. And, you know, that's the drawback of having something like that. The ironic thing was, by picking up those 2 camp roads like that, it's like, oh my goodness, there's only 2 or 3 yards worth of trash on Springy Pond Road. There's only 2 or 3 yards of trash out here on Hopkins Pond. Well, that was 16 yards that was out there, okay? 6 yards, 16 yards, well, that's 10 extra yards, okay? So, I mean, you know, it's simple math, but with Bruce, you know, the day that, you know, I went in there this springtime to go down in there, and somebody come flying out, and what do you automatically do? You go to the right. There I sat, had to call Stewart's, $150 later, I'm like, I don't want to do this no more, you know. That comes out of my pocket, you know. So, you know, they told me to contact Bruce, we talked about it, and like you said, nobody wanted it on their land, but, you know, I'm willing to work with that. You know, we had you know, this was a tough winter, you know, worse than we've seen in a while. And there were times I went down there one time in the morning, an oil truck was at the bottom of the hill. He couldn't even get out. I had to come back 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night, go back down in there to pick the trash up. And it was like, by that time the truck had been parked since 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, and it was like, okay, well, it's what it is.
How was the other, I'm sorry, go ahead. How was the other winter, the first winter down there?
It was tough.
Yeah.
And we managed, you know. I mean,
It was a light.
the only person I ever missed was his house.
Yeah. So.
You'd sit there and guess, he hasn't had it out for a week or 2.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go out there this week. Then he'd give me a call. He's like, hey, you forgot me.
So is it a solution that you two have worked on? I mean, are you agreeable to go out there in the springtime months or summer months and
You know,
dump
like
stuff
he had
here,
said,
or
I think
what?
if we do something seasonal,
Yeah.
I think that would work the best. You know, November 1st to, you know, let the roads dry up. You know, I mean, they stayed soft this year for quite a while. They just dried up over the last 2 or 3 weeks out there. And, you know, you still got a couple spots, you can still see the water coming up through.
Yeah.
But
Now, is that just Hopkins Pond?
just Hopkins
Walking, not
Pond.
Springy?
Springy Pond's fine. They plow and sand.
Obviously, Springy Pond has a better maintenance program.
Yes.
Pond
Yeah,
does.
and I know how associations work. It depends on how much money you're willing to spend.
Bet you're not paying 165 a year.
We're paying 200.
Is that all?
Yeah.
You're flat.
Yeah.
That makes it
We'll talk later.
And once in a while they get sand.
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
But it's level out there. There's no, that big hill is just the
yeah.
big
Yeah,
kick in the
that's
butt.
wonderful.
I seen that oil truck sitting down there at the bottom of that one time. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, if that's agreeable for both of you, weigh in on this, select people. I mean, the one thing that is, everybody has to have a key to the lock, and with the understanding that you will alert people who are bringing stuff out here, it's household trash only.
Right.
That's something I can get to Bruce, is like
Yeah.
a flyer. Okay, this is household
Yeah.
waste, you know, not shingles, not
Yeah.
sheetrock, not
Now,
windows.
the dumpster that will be put out there, you will be putting it there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'll be my container.
Their locks. Or
Well,
how does that
whatever
work?
you
My
got,
locks.
Your
you
locks.
would do.
Okay.
Yeah, all my locks are key to light, so
Okay.
that way you don't run around with a big key ring.
Okay.
So May 1 to November 1, or are you saying you want to go further into November, or what?
I
Speak up.
probably don't want to go too far into November. You don't know how the winter's going to
Yeah,
treat
yeah,
you.
no,
You don't know how. I mean, I know
Speak up, you're here.
we're likely not to get any snow by November 1st, but you never know.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know,
Well, I'll communicate back May 1st to November 1st, and then after that, So we've got till November 1 to sort out key situations.
Right,
So,
yes. And like I said, what I'll do is, Bruce, I'll just be in touch with you.
Okay.
And I'll get you, here you go, this is household waste.
Beautiful.
I mean, a lot of people know already, I leave their sheetrock behind, I leave all their construction debris behind, and if that's getting in the dumpster, that's only gonna be the people with keys to it.
As a resident of Hopkins Pond Road, just out of curiosity, other than being forced off the road that time, typically were you able to get down into all areas?
Usually I was able to get to, you got Rodney's house, next driveway, and the next one, and then after that, dropping down the hill, you needed a four-wheel drive. Sometimes I had to put tire chains on the truck, so my pickup.
I don't know you from Adam, but I would like to say as a resident of Hopkins Pond for the last 2 winters, our trash was always picked up, and it was,
It might have been
it was just-
late.
It's the second driveway.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it might have been late, but it was, nobody ever left me any six-packs.
Yeah, we should.
I'll make a motion that the Hopkins Pond pickup, trash pickup, will be on the road May 1st to November 1st. And then November 1st to May 1st, there'll be a locked bin in the town office lot to put household trash in, not other debris.
Do I have a second? Second motion. All those in favor? JT, before you go, can I just ask you a question about, first of all, thank you for the good job you do. I really appreciate what you do. The other thing, do you have other towns that you do, like you just do trash, you do recycle? We're about to lose our Bangor Recycling Center.
I do other towns. I do 5 other towns for Penobscot County. I do the unorganized territories for them. And I did actually, was awarded the bid for their recycling for those towns yesterday morning.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do recycling.
So can you give us an idea what that might be if we were going to get a bid from you? We have to do something shortly.
You want to continue with how you're doing it with the once-a-month drop-off? Do you want curbside? I mean, it depends.
We want cheap.
I understand that, I don't know how, I kind of have a good idea what your setup is with the drop-off with Jimmy, working out back and everything. And, I know it's once a month or something like that.
Twice a month, yeah.
Twice a month. And, the only thing I'd have to look at is would I have to hire somebody to come in, cover my workers' comp on it, and then the transportation of materials. And, a little markup, would like to buy a steak once in a while.
Yeah.
And,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
Where do you take your recyclables?
My recycling is currently, right now, I go to Dexter, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was one of the choices.
Yeah. Because if you sort your material, they actually, when you go in there, you drop each material off, you hit the scale, they have a scale on site, you go back, empty out another material, you scale up, so you can know what your weight is per material that you do. Bangor isn't taking anything anymore.
Right.
The only other option you have now is Casella. That costs me $40 a ton for the single stream recycling. That was their goal, was to, close Bangor recycling down.
I got another question. Do you have a truck that will take a roll-off?
No. Nope.
Take a what?
Roll-off. A roll-off.
Yep.
Big dumpster.
You're talking a compartmentalized container for recycling?
Well, I just know it's a roll-off, and I'll tell you why. Is the company that I'm familiar with is Eco-Maine.
Yes.
And they actually will bring free of charge a roll-off, or will loan the town a roll-off.
Yes.
Where zero sort is just dumped into that trailer.
Yep.
And then, but the town would have to pay
The trucking.
the trucking
Yep.
back
Okay.
and forth.
I have a deal with Eco-Maine also at $0 per ton.
That's right.
But for me to truck it down to Portland and back will cost me $150 in fuel. Just in fuel.
Right,
And that's all talking trucking time.
Right,
And,
and that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
is they look at what they're spending right now
Yeah,
to haul, what they're hauling to Bangor, it's costing them to have a person out here and maintain the building and
yeah,
see if it might be worth it, because this roll-off, I'm thinking they wouldn't have to have hauled other than
Yep.
maybe twice a year.
one thing I know about containers sitting like that, it makes an easy dumpster for somebody who needs to get rid of a couple bags of trash. And they can bring it down there and maybe the zero sort, but contamination charges. They will, if there is trash, you will get your contamination
But
charges.
if they're locked, based on what I'm being told, they're covered.
Who's gonna unlock them for the people to access them?
Well, that's to be determined, but
Right,
if it cuts down more on our tonnage and
yes,
JT, I talked to Victor Horton. We
yes,
talked about this
Yeah.
last month. They provide a place in Hancock,
yep,
and we could go there for free
yep,
and unload everything like Jim does now. If we want to get paid, they charge a processing fee, and it's like $54 a ton, which we don't process that kind of recyclable.
What are your tonnages right now for material? Do you know what your 2013 tonnages
Oh,
were?
I have to look back. If anybody's gonna go up, I can look back, but Victor said we're so low that going to Hancock would benefit us, because
Right.
he usually goes once a month, Jim, to Bangor.
Yeah,
So, and they have a person there on site to help him, and there's a fork truck available too, to help
Yeah.
him. So I don't know, I know he loads the trailer up, but I don't know if he puts the bins in the trailer or what he does.
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I know I'm probably not alone in basically taking my recyclables as well as those that have a deposit, assuming it ends up in the hands of the Boy Scouts. Where do they land in this?
The bottles,
Yeah.
they return the bottles to like a redemption center.
Right.
But those, I think there's several of those around. But what Jim receives is glass containers.
No, he
Yeah.
sorts all of that.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen with the people that thought they were donating to the local Boy Scouts?
That's,
I don't
And
know.
why aren't the Boy Scouts stepping up to
Yeah.
offer to staff this thing once
Yeah.
every week?
yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Jim doesn't want to lose his job. Right now,
okay.
his daughter has called and they're trying to find him housing right here in Eddington, one of the, like Hope Manor, so he can afford to still be on his own,
Right.
so he don't have to have wood anymore and all that. And his daughter said he really don't want to lose his job because you've talked to him and keeps him busy and it's something to do twice a month. So if we could do something like this place in Hancock, or you help them assist them with a delivery,
Right.
that's an option.
I mean,
And
Jimmy's been doing
also-
a great job. you
Yeah,
know.
I
He
know that
really
shop
has.
down there is neat as a pin. And the other, Victor told us that anybody at any time can go to Bangor Public Works and drive up to their bins and unload, and they'll
Right.
never be questioned.
Yeah.
So
You got the
that's-
drop off there and they get to different
Yeah.
areas, you drop your material.
So I asked him
Anybody
if we
can
could
go
bring,
there.
if Jim could bring the trailer there, and he goes, no, that would be obvious.
Yeah.
But this lady, I talked to Joyce, down there in Hancock,
Mm-hmm,
so they do have people there on site to help him, but
yeah.
it might be an option to have JT deliver, so he don't have to drive
See,
anymore.
that was what I found with, I've dealt with them up there before in Hancock before in the past, but that's why I've always worked over in Dexter whenever I had to do that, 'cause the processing fees or,
Yeah, Dexter was the other option,
yeah, almost,
or Old Town, which, they
that's,
charge us $40 a ton.
yeah. Is it, you did check into that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what, that's what they charge me,
Yeah.
and.
right now, the most affordable place would be Hancock.
Yeah.
It's a little drive, but it's not very far past Jordan's
A couple
snack bar.
back roads.
Yeah. But we talked about Jim driving by himself and.
No, that's not
We
gonna be
can't,
an option
yeah.
anymore. You can't do that.
I mean, if there's something with that, you guys, I'm more willing just to help out with whatever. I mean,
Okay.
it's not all about the money sometimes, I like Jimmy. He's a good
Yeah.
guy.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
He
He
is a
doesn't,
good man.
he doesn't want to lose us.
He doesn't want to lose his job, and his
Yeah.
health is not
Right.
well,
Yeah.
and I worry about him, and also a liability issue for the town with him driving and trying to unload stuff. Because
Right.
he usually doesn't say anything, but he said to me that I can't do it all in one day, I have to scatter it out, because all this stuff is heavy, and then wherever he goes, he's expected to unload it himself.
You
so-
are. That is
Yeah.
your responsibility when you get there.
Yeah.
So.
But
Yeah.
there is somebody there
At
and a
the other
forklift
place.
available, so,
Yeah.
but, and Hancock, but, you know, one day he goes, this person might not be there, who's
Yeah.
to say, but.
Would it be possible for you to work up something? I mean, you said to staff out here and pay a sort workman's comp and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
if he stayed there and did
Yeah.
it, you just did the hauling or something like that, or what?
whatever works. I mean, if something, I mean, for me, if I pay somebody, I got an additional $11 per 100.
Oh,
that I
yeah,
have to pay
yeah,
out,
yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is, you know. And, you know, with the hauling or whatever,
Yep,
you know, that's no big deal. I get a trailer hitch just like he does.
yep, yep.
You know.
They're open 4 days a week, so,
Yeah.
all day, so that gives you a choice of days to deliver.
You know, like I said, I mean, if it's just something with helping out until
We
to
figure
see
something out.
what happens with
Okay.
me, no big deal.
Okay, all right.
More
All right.
willing to come in and help out.
That's why you're a good man. Thank you ever
Oh,
so much.
jeez. At least
Where'd you
somebody.
go to feel this good when you leave, huh? Thank you, thank you,
All right,
thank
you
you.
guys.
We'll
Thank
get
you.
back to you. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, guys.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
Night.
Okay. Any other questions with that before we move on?
Yeah. See if you guys have any questions.
The one question that I had was if July, is it dead July 1 that we can't haul there anymore?
It was June, I think.
June?
Yeah. But he, yeah.
Was
But
June?
He already delivered, so I mean, we were good, that's why
Okay.
we said last month. So we're not back now. No,
June 30th.
yeah,
June 30th is the last day we can take stuff there?
yeah.
Because what I didn't, I mean, he's got all those bins out there, those things that he takes the tractor and loads them on his trailer.
No, he's got me on the road, they grind up the glass. The trailers, there's two trailers, one has cargo, the other one has.
Right,
plastic
right.
bags. They just can be hauled off like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The thing that he has to pick up and put on the truck is the glass.
right.
That's why he has his tractor, picks it up with his tractor. puts
what
it on
about
the
those
truck.
bins that have the magazines and newspapers and all that stuff in it? Those things are heavier than the
Yeah,
dickens.
yeah,
Does he
yeah.
load the
Does
bins
he-
in the trailer? I don't know.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so there's a forklift there. and
Yeah, but
somebody
he's gotta get
on
it from the shed into the trailer.
site. Right,
Well, as long as he's got his, front end loader, you know.
yeah, it's a nice tractor.
Well, like I said, that's that, I'll leave the guy out. I've known Jimmy 25 years.
Well, how about this week we talk to him or see or whatever's out there? Would you do that?
Yeah.
See if we can get it cleaned up before the end of this month?
We also have a driving problem with him.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't
It
want
would
to,
be just, the best thing for us to do is to have him take care of things and
Yeah.
take it right.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I don't,
No, he
no.
doesn't have to.
I think that's what JT.
Yeah, yeah,
are doing
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I think that's.
So we
I think
figure
that's
it
the
out.
best bet.
Till we figure
We
it
can
out.
go with JT and, you know,
Mm.
help him
Yeah.
still make it feel like he's helping them.
Okay, all right. Well, while we're on this, do we need to, so you talked about
These are
this
just,
one in
yeah.
Hancock, right?
Yeah, in Dexter, which is even further,
Okay,
has the same deal, but it's free, but, and
okay,
then Old Town was $40 a ton to use their facility.
okay.
And then, of course, Cindy brought up those other options, but we don't have a lot of tonnage, so to have
But you might have
curbside.
more if you looked into the
Well,
zero
and that's what
sort.
Victor said too.
Yeah, yeah,
He did mention back, 2018, there's gonna be some major changes with her at
yeah,
MRC, so
right,
from now until then, we might wanna start thinking about curbside, budgeting, get some figures, and, because he said more people probably would
mhm,
recycle,
mhm.
so.
Well, would he come talk to us? I mean, Cindy said that a Connell lady would come. I'd
Yeah.
sure like to have somebody
She'll
come
come
and just
and talk to you.
explain the whole thing. Do you have the information from her to get her here at the next meeting?
No, I talked to Victor,
Yeah.
he's the director,
Okay. Of this economy or from
No,
this thing here?
MRC.
Okay, all right.
That's John a question.
Yes.
Joan,
Mm,
you guys do the zero sort, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
we do now.
And how is that working and how expensive is it? Do you know? Off the top of your
I
head?
don't carry numbers around in my head.
All right, I can check. But it's working well?
Seems to be at the moment, there's been some discussion about this because if, this is gonna sound awful, if too much is recycled and the tonnage is down that we send to PERT,
Yeah.
then we have to pay them additional money.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you over recycle, you're gonna get a bill for it,
Okay.
which is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Egregious?
And that's what Victor said, with such a small town,
Yeah.
for us to have such an added expense to go, when the options to go to Bangor for free, this place for free. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, okay, all right,
Just the transportation.
Okay.
Think about.
all right. What does the board feel? Should we have somebody come talk? Would this Victor come? Or do we need to have him come?
They'll probably say the same thing.
Same thing told you?
Because that's what-
Yeah?
That's, the letter is from him,
Okay, all right.
so maybe they can call him anytime.
Can I ask another question?
Yes,
Something you might wanna look into is just what Mrs. Brooks said, is find out what you're committed to PERC
yeah,
and how much more you're sending,
yes.
so you know what you have before you make any
Yep.
final
Yep.
decisions.
Right.
All right.
Well, I'll make a motion, we look further into the recycling, and getting, JT to help transport, helping Jen out for now. Finding out what our PERT commitment is, and the other options that we have for recycling, which Deb just gave us some, and maybe the zero sort, just getting the information on it. So I'd like to table that for the next meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, good job. All right, where were we? Planning board minutes, review if any.
We just been a lot of public hearings, we
Okay.
get videos.
Okay. CEO report, we have. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. CEO?
The papers have been served,
Okay,
so we do have a court date, but I can't remember what the date is, but it's very soon.
okay,
So hopefully we'll have an answer before much longer.
okay, all right,
Does everybody know what that means? Is it-
yeah.
I guess I don't know which one we're talking about. Is the trash picked up over here yet?
No.
Is that what we're?
No.
Or
This
is
is
the other
about the
trees?
replanting and
Okay.
trees and stuff, yeah. Trees
Where
are
are we
done.
on that over here?
We'll probably be calling the sheriff
What's his time frame? June 30th?
June 30th.
Okay. And what's everything picked up? I mean, who?
Everything picked up and out of there,
Okay, all right,
and he has until June 30th, if not, he's in contempt of court.
okay.
Is he aware of the cleanup day, I wonder? That'd be helpful.
Oh,
Put it all in
God.
the box for
He brings some tonnage over
Yeah.
for the guys.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept Rick's report.
All right.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Okay, all right. Everybody in favor? All right. Keep me on task, Julie. Okay. ACO report. You have it in front of you.
I'll make a motion, we accept Connor's report and pay for mileage.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just wanna ask, her sister passed a couple weeks ago, and we were gonna send flowers. I talked to Carol, which you guys normally do, but Carol had a better idea.
Her sister was a friend of mine that I worked with at the hospital for a long time, and I went to the wake in the afternoon, and Carla was very appreciative of the concern everybody has given her during this long process. And I suggested, where she is such an animal lover, and Marty, who was her sister, was the same. And Marty, in her obituary, which she wrote, by the way, her things that she wanted donated to were the Bucksport Animal Shelter, or another organization where they help build houses in third world countries. So with a connection with Carla and all of us, I thought maybe that might be a better choice to just donate some money to the animal shelter in memory of Marty and put it to the attention of Carla, if everybody's all right with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a motion to do.
Oh,
Oh, okay. And somebody make a motion for, yeah, 50's fine. Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we make a $50 donation to the Bucksport Animal Shelter in memory of Carla's sister.
Yep, okay.
And this comes out of the selectmen's expense account,
Okay.
just stuff like this.
All right, any discussion about that? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, so passed. And there's the address for the application, Dan Joy. If you can't read my writing,
You all vote for her mileage.
Yes.
Did we do that already?
Yeah, Julie had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go, yeah, all right.
Still up there.
Oh, didn't know we added that. Sorry about that. All right,
All in favor of that mileage?
all right. Let me sign this so I don't forget it. Oh, it's quiet in here. It's nice, huh? Yes.
Mark's over in the corner.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Hi. All right, let's jump around again. Okay, so, Mr. Mark,
Yes.
we had a concern, complaint, however you want to put it, against our tax assessor from somebody in town, and they are unwilling to come here, but I would like you to know if you would, we can go into executive session to discuss it with you and the select board, or here.
Does not need to be an executive session for my purposes. If you want to talk about it in open meeting, it's fine with me.
Okay, all right. Would you like to speak to what happened that day?
Well, I think I gave you this statement.
You did.
This is the entire event that happened that day. I wrote this within an hour after it happened. As soon as it happened, I went to see Ed. I told him what happened. I told him that I had considered calling the sheriff's department to make a complaint. He suggested that I do that, and I did. If I had an impartial witness, I would press charges against Mr. Foyt for assault. When he did assault me that day.
Yeah.
I've read their story. Other than the fact that I was there that day and we spoke, everything is a fabrication. What I've studied here is the entire truth. It is not every word that was spoken, but it is the truth of what happened that day. I don't know what more I can say. I did do some, I spoke to a number of people. Charles Norberg is the code enforcement officer in Bradley, and he also does Eddington as well. He gave me this, I think you know the subsection 4452. It's designed for mostly for code enforcement officers, but it does say municipal officials, and this is what I'm going to read. I'm going to skip around here and read just pieces of it. A municipal official, such as a municipal code enforcement officer, local plumbing inspector, building official, may enter any property at reasonable hours or enter any building with the consent of the owner, occupant, or agent to inspect the property or building. A municipal official's entry onto property under this paragraph is not a trespass. So I'm there. I noticed they said